Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler are a tag team. Let that sink in. Dolph Ziggler, who is a SmackDown wrestler. He is teaming up with a Raw wrestler. Does that make sense to you? No, it doesn't, does it? How about having the B Team and Otis and Tucker involved in the tag team turmoil when you could have used the Ascension or the Authors of Pain? You had the Viking Raiders in that match. And they are not your winners? They're not the winners. They don't win. So, what was the point of all those jobbers they were beating up? See, this is the thing I don't understand. Why is it when wrestlers get jobbers, and then all of a sudden when they start fighting actual talent, they lose? Why have them smash up jobbers for 5 weeks, only for them to lose in this tag team turmoil? You built up the Viking Raiders for something like that? The Viking Raiders should have destroyed every tag team in this turmoil, including Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. If there's any team that you should have chosen to possibly take the titles off of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, that was your team. The Vikings. That was your team. But no, we're going to have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. People were complaining about Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman magically being a random tag team. This is a random tag team for all the wrong reasons. Seth and Braun were a random tag team to set up a Universal title match, as we saw. This is a different way of forming a random team. This is not how you do it. You basically sent Robert Roode back to square one. You split him from Chad Gable. You repackaged him into Robert Roode. And he's back in the tag team division? Why didn't... if you wanted Robert Roode in the tag team, why not EC3 and Robert Roode? Why not Eric Young and Robert Roode? Because Robert Roode and Eric Young were teaming up on a TV taping of Main Event. You could have done them. But no, you're wasting talent like EC3 and Eric Young. What did you break up Sanity for? Especially for poor Eric Young's sake. And as for poor EC3, this could have been the only thing that could have saved this guy's career. Putting him in a tag team with someone like Bobby Roode. But no, it had to be Dolph Ziggler. But it had to be Dolph Ziggler, though. It should have been Ziggler. And it had to be Ziggler. Please. I am so pissed off at that turmoil. That is the one thing I basically want to say. You're going to have the Viking Raiders lose this, especially when you've had them smash up jobbers for like 4 or 5 weeks. Disappointed! Oh yeah, and let's not forget you had the former Raw Tag Team Champions in there as well, the OC. Do I have to shrug my shoulders any higher for you people to understand how stupid this turmoil was? So the show started off with at least one good thing. Sasha Banks. Love her new t-shirt. And please, the clothes she came out in, can she please wrestle like that? I thought that was, honestly, I think she should. Because damn, she looks sexy like that. She addressed the WrestleMania rumors, and because she talked about it, clearly they were false. If you're talking about something, then clearly they were false. The whole temper tantrum and all that stuff, clearly that wasn't true. If she's talking about it. Because you wouldn't talk about something that was true, right? And better yet, she wouldn't be back if they were true. So you know they're false. Which led to Natalya coming out to have a brawl with Sasha. Sasha was saying, and by the way, I'm not a fan of the new hashtag that everybody, especially WWE, started for Sasha Banks. Hashtag all about Sasha. Please, I'm not a fan of that hashtag, because you guys know that that is something that already belongs to somebody who is signed to Impact Wrestling. And if you guys know that certain someone, her name used to be Emma. She still holds that gimmick. So I'm not a fan of WWE and all these fans actually using that hashtag. You're basically turning Sasha Banks into Emma version 2. The only difference is Sasha Banks will be winning. That's just a minor complaint I want to make there. But that's just for social media. This has nothing to do with Sasha Banks on TV, though. But anyway, the first match was Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre in the King of the Ring first round match. Drew McIntyre is eliminated in the first round. Well, obviously they had to pick either Ricochet or Drew McIntyre. But it seems like Drew McIntyre is being relegated to the mid-card. What a shame. What a shame for Drew McIntyre. Oh well, Drew, at least there could be a future, I guess you could be a future United States champion. Baron Corbin and The Miz in the first round, King of the Ring. Don't care, Baron Corbin run. I swear to Christ, if they have Baron Corbin win this thing, I'm going to be mad. I don't care who wins this tournament as long as it's not bloody Baron Corbin. Seriously. Speaking of random, we have Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw today. She takes on Nikki Cross. Why? Is there a reason why they're fighting? Did they have any type of issue with each other? No, they didn't. Oh, they had... Oh, the moment of bliss was last week. That could have been why. Really? Bayley was focusing all of her attention on Charlotte in that moment of bliss. Jesus. I don't care if half of the roster's injured. Well, I do care because I feel bad for them. But honestly, You've got, but the reason why I don't care is because you got people like Dana Brooke there. You got Sarah Logan. You got Dana Brooke and Sarah Logan you could use, or hell, even Lacey Evans. You've got people you can use. Makes no sense. This match literally makes no sense. You could have just had it be Lacey Evans versus Dana Brooke, and it would have been even less interesting. But at least it would have been two people from freaking Raw. Bayley should not be wasting her appearances on Raw. She shouldn't be wasting her time appearing on Raw. Who do you think wins? Bayley wins. You protect one champion, but ultimately you're pinning another champion. No wonder why no one gives a shit about the women's tag team titles. Also in Sasha Banks' promo, she mentioned that she doesn't give a shit about the women's tag team titles. Well, she didn't say it in those words. Wish she did though. But really, I don't believe that for a second, because if she didn't give a shit about the women's tag team titles, she and Bayley would have never begged for them. So, thought I'd bring that up. Then we had that stupid tag team turmoil next. I talked about that at the start. Sasha Banks versus Natalya. Sasha Banks obviously won. You can't have Sasha Banks lose in her return match. And then you had Cedric Alexander take on Cesaro, which was a great match. It was a good match, but ultimately it really didn't matter. It wasn't enough to save the show. The show was already damaged goods with majority of the mistakes they were making here. Cedric Alexander did defeat Cesaro. Seth Rollins agreed to verse Braun Strowman at Clash of Champions as well. Also, another thing I should mention about the tag team turmoil, they had the Revival in there. Like, why are the Revival in there when they're clearly challenging for the SmackDown tag team titles? Also, I want to mention this real quick. I want to mention this as well, and I wonder if people will agree with me. Honestly, they should just have the Revival defeat the New Day, so then the Revival can go over to SmackDown Live. If you're gonna waste tag teams, SmackDown barely has a tag team division. SmackDown barely has a tag team division, and in my honest opinion, you may as well just have the Revival win the tag team titles, the SmackDown ones, and just have them get sent over to SmackDown. You may as well, since SmackDown's tag team division is basically non-existent. Scott and Dash and Dawson said they were gonna save the SmackDown tag team division. Well, you may as well just give them the SmackDown tag team titles. Also, the main event was a rematch from last week. It was AJ Styles defending his United States Championship against Braun Strowman, who is one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, and Braun Strowman basically demolishes the entire OC, which the match ends by disqualification. Same outcome from last week. The only difference is Braun Strowman is the one that does it instead of AJ. Literally, that's all I got for you guys. I don't talk about, before you wondering why do I not talk about the backstage segments, I don't bother with the backstage segments. I only talk about them because, as you guys know, I'm at university. I don't have time to talk about backstage interviews. I only talk about them if I know about them, like the Braun Seth one. And boy oh boy, this Raw suffered without Becky Lynch. You could tell Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins were really needed. Don't think they would have made the show better, but Jesus Christ, the show was all over the place. So that's all I've got for you guys on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw. By the way, my internet is kind of playing up. Well, not my internet, my Wi-Fi, I guess I should say. My Wi-Fi is kind of being all messed up right now. So if this issue doesn't get fixed within the next couple of days, I may have to postpone a few live streams because my PS4 is currently, the internet, the internet server on my PS4 is not working. So I do apologize. If it doesn't get cleared up within the next few days, I'm probably gonna have to postpone a few live streams until it's all sorted out. So I thought I'd give you guys a bit of that update as well, and I might have to postpone a couple of other things as well when it comes to my live streams. But either way, if I can get all that nonsense fixed, or if my family can figure out what's the problem. But yeah, if we can get all that nonsense fixed, I'll definitely be back doing live streams. So at this point in time, guys, just want to let you guys know, I may not be able to do live streams for a while if the issues are not solved by those days. So thank you all. So anyway, so enough of the rambling. Thank you all for tuning in for this review. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in my SmackDown review. See you guys then, guys.